welcome to Racer TV, making the 5th stop of the Grand National Cross Country Tour here at Loretta Lynn's ranch. Over the years, Loretta Lynn, a famous country singer, has opened up her house to us, all of us racers, to come here every year and share her land and all of her spirit here at this great place. I'm Rachel Ayers, joining me is Rodney Smith. Rodney, we've been coming to this track for years. There's been many eventful things happening here today. What are we in store for today?
Well, I think we're going to see a great race for one, and being here at Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch is very special, being that she's famous and a country star, and her letting us race here on her ranch. That's always a special tour, and it being round 5 of the series, it's getting close to the halfway point, and I think we're going to see a good race today.
Well, Bill Balance and Chris Borch have been battling it out all year. They're currently tied in the points lead, but I know that Chris Borch wants to get another win, but we can't count out Bill Balance, who is always strong at this race. He says, you know, in his interviews that this is what he wants, this is the track, this is close to his home. How is that going to play in today's race?
Well, definitely Balance has won a lot of championships, and he knows what it takes, and he knows Borch has 2 wins in a row. So to stop that momentum, he's going to have to get up there and win here today. And also, this is one of his favorite places to race, and it's nearing the halfway point like we said earlier. So he needs to put a stop to Borch and get back a hold of that championship points run.
Well, Bill Balance and Chris Borch, like we said, have ran away with first and second, tied for first. But we can't count out that 3rd place. Every single race so far, we've seen a different person up on that podium in that 3rd place. That has to throw some element in there for all the other racers that haven't quite got up to that 1st or 2nd point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the race for 3rd seems to be a good race every week. The only bad side to it is Balance and Borch are pulling away in the points because there's been a different person in 3rd every week. So those guys are going to have to take control of 3rd place, and if somebody wants to step up there and challenge Borch and Balance for that championship, they're going to have to do so here today.
Well, it's going to be a great day of racing. Let's go down to the start.
Okay, thanks a lot, Rachel and Rodney. Jason Wygant going to give you the call here. And there you see the point standings. Balance and Borch deadlocked on top of the series. Not a surprise there. They have been 1-2 in every round. And there's a big gap back to everyone else. Now, these two have been 1-2 in the series for the last 3 years. But it's a whole new level of domination this year. Bill Balance certainly looks focused and ready to keep that going here at Loretta Lynn's. The rest of the field, well, Chris Bithell is 3rd in points, and he was on the podium at round 2 in Georgia. He's just a teenager. A lot of people believe in a couple of years he will be the one that's knocking off a whole bunch of GNCC wins. William Yoakley, no podiums this year for the veteran. Still trying to dial in the brand new monster Kawasaki machine, and they've got some engineers over here from Japan, actually, to help him do that. So a big effort for Yoakley today. Taylor Kaiser, he's a rookie in the pro class, had a podium in his home state of Florida at the opening round of the series, and he'd like another one today. And finally, Brian Cook, he's a Carolina native, and he was on the podium in his native of North Carolina. So we'll see if any of these guys can respond today. Here we go. The Acherbys Loretta Lynn's GNCC underway, and it's Taylor Kaiser grabbing the whole shot, and he's going to control everyone through turn 2. So Kaiser, the rookie, everyone's going to be eating his dust early in this one. Yoakley on the green machine is actually in the hunt, his best start of the year toward the top 5. And there we see Balance on the outside. Bad start for him, and he got rammed into that fence on the outside. Balance almost always gets great starts, so this is a bit of a change for him. Yoakley has gotten bad starts all year, meanwhile. And Yoakley off the racetrack. I don't know where he was intending on going there. Almost gave up a spot to Balance. And now into the woods, Borch has the lead. Everything going his way right now.
Got 2 wins underneath my belt now, and looking for the 3rd one. Been training real hard, feel good. Mountain bike the track yesterday. Looks like a fun racetrack. I think if I win today, it'll have pretty messed up in the head, and I think it'll be pretty cruise sailing from here. But we got today, and we'll go out there and give it all I got, and see how we end up.
Well, there it is. Borch throwing down the gauntlet. He knows today is a pivotal race in this series. Pivotal race, I believe is what I meant to say. Now, this is what GNCC racing is like. Once we're deep into the woods, there are lines everywhere. There's one main line, but there are different places you can go to make passes. When the path is closed early in the race, that's what you've got to do. It's risky to go off the main line. You never know if there's going to be a stump or a rock or something to throw you off. But that's what you need to do if you want to make passes early in these races. You get up front. That's where Borch is. That's where Bill Balance needs to be. You see our scroll there at the bottom. Chris Jenks holding on to a top 10 position. And he has been very vocal this year, has not been able to get good starts, and he said it has very much hampered his results. Now here's an interesting part of this racetrack. Some giant whoops, or really jumps is what they've turned into. And the fans, of course, lined up to watch that. Brent Sturdivant here, the number 2 position. and that's a good ride early on for him. Meanwhile, there's a deep pack here trying to chase through. We talked about Chris Jenks earlier. Starts are key.
We've been working on it, trying to weld up the weak areas, so if he wants to do it again, maybe it won't break, and working on the shocks, that's a never-ending battle, just trying to get it better and faster. So, things have been coming together. It's not really shown on the finishes that well, but if we get a start, I'll be up front and hopefully get a win today.
Well, Jenks was considered a title contender when the year began, but he has had all kinds of trouble, and now he just wants to get a single podium finish. Look at these guys, Johnson and Yoakley. They're in the same boat. As with Jenks, just trying to get that first podium of the year and build some confidence and momentum. Same for Matt Smiley, so a lot of motivation here. Rodney and Rachel talked about at the top of the show. We've had a different third-place finisher in every round, and that might be the case again today. Jenks has now moved all the way up into third, but Yoakley is right there, and that's mighty Matt Smiley right behind him. So again, we might see yet another newcomer to the podium before today is over. Count the Rock, Dwayne Johnson in on that list as well. Then we go back to Adam McGill. We're still looking for Balance, who I believe is at the back of this train. There is Craig Green, and there is Bill Balance, all the way back in ninth. And worse yet, Taylor Kaiser, who grabbed their early lead in this one, is back to 10th. So he's got a long way to go to make his way back to the front. You've got to be error-free. Even if you had the lead early, it's not a guarantee. Boris will tell you that as he enters the familiar grounds of the AMA Aeronautiques Loretta Lynn's motocross track, home of the Aeronautiques Nationals every August. That is the world's largest motocross race. Now these machines here, as you see Chris Jenks bottom out over that double, these GNCC machines are not set up perfectly for motocross. The suspension a little bit softer, and they don't run the wide width that a motocross machine would, so they have to go a little bit slower in the corners. Of course, they're set up a lot better for the trees. Here's Balance putting pressure on Reed. He goes to the inside, and Balance has got another position, but Reed fights back. It's a drag race now. Balance gets some better traction on the outside, and now he's going to control the inside of the next corner. Here comes Reed right back. And Balance shuts the door, so Balance with another position, but that's merely a battle for 7th. And if you're Bill Balance, your standards are much higher than that. And meanwhile, Chris Borich, business as usual out front. He's got a nice lead. Sturdivant there, his riding and training partner, is in second. So all systems go for the East Coast ATV Honda rider. And Balance has got his work cut out for him, because not only is there distance, but there's riders. Jenks, Yoakley, Smiley, you see them all here. He's going to have to make a lot of passes before he even has a chance to start making up ground on Chris Borich. There's Johnson and McGill. Balance coming by now. This is going to be a wild one. He's got a lot of time to pass riders, and that means it's going to be really fun for us to watch. We're just getting started. Stay tuned. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Rocky Mountain, and Moose Racing. We're going to flash to our morning race here. This is where we run them all. 4x4s, women, novice, beginners, youth production, the whole 9 yards out here racing. We got a spot for everyone in this series. This is 4x4 open class, and Rick Checo is open to doing a 360 around the first turn. Good job by Jake and Chris to take the whole shot here as Checo goes into come from behind mode. But as you'll see, he had something for the boys even coming from back in the pack. A couple different ways to treat 4x4 racing out here. To a lot of people, it's a 2-hour adventure ride through the forest. To other riders, it is a professional chase for a national championship, and they do have factory sponsorship, some of these boys, with Can-Am and Warner Racing. It's fun no matter what. We'll give you an idea of some of the classes out here as well. We have 4x4 lights, that's for 500cc or less of displacement. 4x4 limited for limited modifications, and 4x4 open, that's the big horsepower machines like this, and they're not afraid to launch on the motocross track. And this is what's most impressive. Watch this. The landings are really not that hard, considering these are 800-pound, near 800-pound machines, and it's really impressive what they're able to do even on the moto track. But it's in the tight woods that these four-wheel drive machines really excel, and you'll see that. Rick Checo was the top 4x4 rider today, and he won the open class. And yeah, it's a rough ride out there, but Checo's a great rider. Was actually a Pro-Am rider for a couple of years in this series. He decided to try the 4x4 class, had a blast, and he took his first career win in this division today. His chief rival, Scott Kilby, though not with us today, so there will be some battling once Kilby's back in this series. The Can-Am Warden Racing team swept it today. Checo is your open class winner. Cliff Beasley wins the lights class, and Micah Swift won the limited division. We're going to go back to our pro race, XC1 Pros. Chris Borich, business as usual out front. And Brent Sturdivant with a wheelie as he comes through pit road. And that's because Sturdivant is enjoying probably his best day of GNCC racing so far. Second, about midway through this thing. Chris Jenks trying to hold on to a podium position. And we're still looking for Bill Balance. Smiley and Yoakley putting in great rides today in the top 5. Finally, we see Balance at the bottom of this train. You got McGill, you got Johnson, and finally, Bill Balance. So Bill has got his work cut out for him for sure. Borich, meanwhile, able to save a lot of energy and conserve his equipment. Doesn't really have to worry about a big challenge from Sturdivant. Sturdivant is just happy to be where he is right now. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, these two are buddies. Jenks in third, Smiley in fourth. We're trying to find William Yoakley. Maybe more teething problems for the Oak. He's been fighting it this year.
I've been getting some little slow starts, but like I said, Kawasaki has been working hard at that, and they've made a few suggestions. They've came up with a couple of things, and we got her starting a little bit better. Whether it starts good or not, it's hard to tell. You can be practicing at home, and when you get out the track, it don't always work the same. But anyway, I feel good about today's race. I know it's going to be a rough track out there, probably pretty fast. Normally, it is a pretty fast, track here at Loretta's. The bike's working good. The Elka shocks are working awesome, and the Pro Circuit motor is just ripping through there. So hopefully I can get a good start and get up front and battle with those guys.
Oh, and Jenks with some trouble here. He was running in a podium position, but quick mistake, and that's what happens in these races. You can go fast, but one mistake in 2 hours can completely change the course of the race. Jenks got out of that one relatively unscathed. Here's Craig Reed dancing through the trees. And Taylor Kaiser, who was up front early, same thing with him, made a mistake and dropped back in the pack. So Borich continues to dominate, and we're waiting for Bill Balance to come through. He was confident before this race began.
It's kind of like starting over. We're tied up and all square again, but at this point last year I was trying to battle out of a hole and was still able to come back and win a championship. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are so far. I knew that Chris was going to be stiff competition all year long, but we're here today at Loretta's, and this is a good place for me. It's like home, and hopefully get back up in the points. And seems like this is time of the season that I always pull off a good win streak. The tracks are good for me and always do good, so hopefully I can spread it back out.
Well, Bill certainly wants to get the win today and pull back into the points lead, but it's going to be tough. Borich with a gigantic lead at this point, and the 2-lap card is out, so we are probably halfway through this one. 2 laps down, 2 laps to go, and Sturdivant still holding on to the number 2 position, and these guys are all going to make it difficult. Balance not only with time to make up on Borich, but track position as well. Jenks still holding on to 3rd. Balance is up to 4th. But we've got a lot of racing to go. Balance is a long way to go as well, so stay tuned. It's going to get good. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Rocky Mountain, and Moose Racing.
You ever had that dreaded day where you have to change the fork seals? Tusk has made this a little bit easier for you. Here I have fork seal tool. This makes it quick and easy to pound that fork seal back in. This comes in various sizes, available for most popular motorcycles. After you get them forks put back together, you're going to want to get the proper amount of oil back in your fork. The Tusk adjustable oil level tool allows for easy, proper installation of the oil. This and other great products available from RockyMountainMC.com.
Back to the racing action out here. Chris Borich is in the pits. New gas, new goggles, and as you can see, not much panic in the East Coast ATV pits because they have been in control of this race all day long. Now, I cannot believe Brent Sturdivant is still in the hunt. In fact, momentarily took the lead while Borch was in the pits. This is the best ride ever for Sturdivant, but you got to get that quick fill cap back on there, and he loses a little bit of time. Sturdivant, whoa, and Jenks got high centered on a rut there. Jenks has got to be careful. This year he has been really pouring it on, and he's been going a little too hard at times, and that has caused trouble. Looks like Balance has gotten around Matt Smiley momentarily, and they're going to drag race out of the pits, and Balance holds on to that number 3 position. So another spot for Balance. We saw him all the way back in 9th at one point. And that is classic warfare between Smiley and Balance. Those were the guys that were battling like Borch and Balance 5, 6, 7 years ago. Smiley has had his trouble. Borch has taken up the slack. And here's our top 3 right now. Borch, Sturdivant, here's Jenks still in 3rd. And Balance is going to have to try to catch these guys. We got still a lot of gap on him built up. It looks like Jenks actually is looking to challenge Sturdivant now and go for the number 2 position. And Balance and Smiley continuing to wage war for the number 4 spot. And Smiley is inspired. He's staying with Balance. The first time we've seen it in a couple of years. So he is all pumped up right now. And look at this. Borch has not gapped these guys too much. In fact, I'd say Jenks is the fastest man on the racetrack right now, and he can see the leader, and it has been a tough season for him, so he's all fired up right now. Same thing for Smiley. These guys know they've got a shot at rewriting the record books and turning their momentum around this season. If they can get a win today, it would be huge, so they are motivated. And now all of a sudden, Balance is in 3rd, and I'm trying to figure out, is that Jenks right behind him? No, it's Smiley, so Jenks again, the victim of some misfortune, and he has dropped from 3rd to 5th. You see the graphic on the screen, and that has been the way 2007 has gone for Chris Jenks. He definitely has the speed, he has the equipment on the Hauser GT Thunder Honda, but bad luck strikes him over and over. Now Balance on the run. He's gotten around Smiley, he's gotten around Jenks, he's only got to get around Sturdivant. You see the air time. Balance just launched that thing. And that allows him to get around Sturdivant. So Balance has found the groove, and he's going after Borch now. Sturdivant going to try to fight him. I cannot believe Balance has made this many passes in this short amount of time. End of lap 3, and we just might have a battle between the Killer Bees after all. Oh, Borch makes a mistake. Hits a big bump through there, and Balance can see him. Only 7 seconds separate them now, and Bill Balance has hit the afterburner switch. If he can keep this drive going, he might just be able to get a win today. It's going to be good. Stay tuned. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am, Yamaha, Rocky Mountain, and Moose Racing. And back out front, an improbable battle for the lead. Chris Borch has controlled this. Oh, and Bill Balance. I cannot believe how small that tree he hit was, but it did all the damage. And he just lost a spot. Look at Balance, just tagged that. It was probably so small he didn't even notice. He was looking forward on the racetrack, trying to follow Borch, and Balance got himself stuck. Correct me, he did not lose a spot. There's Sturdivant right behind him, and Balance held him off. But the damage is done. Suddenly, Balance has to go into comeback mode again. And you can only do that a couple of times before you lose all your energy. That is the advantage. This rider here, Chris Borch, has been in control all day long. He's been smooth, he's been calculated. He probably has a lot more left in the tank if he needs it, because Balance and Smiley, these guys, have been on a rail all day long, just pushing it to the max. Borch now with a nice size lead. No one behind him to pressure him. That just allows him to save more energy and conserve the equipment. Balance, meanwhile, from lap 2 on, has just been full bore, full throttle of stops, full tilt, and I think he might run out of time. Borch is working his way through this rough section of racetrack, getting around some lap traffic, and he's in control of this one. Look at Balance launching, doubling some of these jumps. The champion will not give up. He's left Smiley behind. Smiley, though, he'll be happy to just take a podium finish. Chris Borch, meanwhile, what can you say? Balance put in the big charge, but it was not enough. Borch did what he had to do. He got the early lead. He conserved his energy. He was smooth all day long. He didn't put a single wheel wrong. and Chris Borich is going to put 3 wins in a row in the books and take the points lead in the Can-Am GNCC Series, and the huge crowd out here responds. Very impressive ride for Chris Borich. Balance, well, he served note, he's still got the speed, but he just lost the points lead.
Yeah, I mean, I got off to a good start there and just seemed like everything was going my way. Me and Sturt have been hooked up there, and we just checked out from everybody. Came into the pits. I don't know if anybody pitted when we did. I think they elected not to pit, got behind us, and it was just basically smooth sailing from there.
No, I'm not happy at all. It seems like I had the speed out there today to just spank anybody and just catch people and just blow right around them and catch the next person in no time. I ran down Chris going into the last lap and felt really confident about it, and just clipped a tree going up a hill climb over here on the start of the lap, and took a pretty bad spill. Took a while to get gathered up and get back going. Lost a couple positions, but worked my way back up to second, but he's really wanting to win here today.
Well, that's the way it is with Bill Balance. That's why he's your 7-time series champ. He's never happy unless he wins the race. Losing the points will probably hurt him even more. Big congratulations out to Matt Smiley there with his first podium since 2005. He's got to be happy to join his East Coast ATV teammate Chris Borich up there on the box. And with Balance taking second, well, that just sets the stage for even better racing next time. He is not going to accept 4 losses in a row. For Rodney Smith and Rachel Ayers, I'm Jason Wygant. We had a great race today. Thanks for watching GNCC Racing.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now. Call 1-800-AMA-JOIN.